Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and explore the fascinating and honestly pretty terrifying cautionary tale of Atlantis. Beyond all the pop culture stuff, the deep sea ruins and glowing ancient tech, there is a core narrative here that's gripped humanity's imagination for literally centuries. So we're going to trace the story right from the original philosophical texts. We'll look at its meteoric rise, its incredibly sudden fall, and the massive enduring mystery it left behind.
Right off the bat, we have to understand that Atlantis wasn't just another kingdom. In antiquity, it was described as this absolute powerhouse of an island nation, defined by just insane wealth and a social structure that was light years ahead of its time. Honestly, this was an empire completely unlike anything the world had ever seen. The sheer scale of it is absolutely crucial to grasp here, because it sets the baseline for what's eventually lost. We're not talking about some little coastal village washing away. No, this was the literal pinnacle of human achievement, glowing with this almost otherworldly prestige.
Part 1. The Golden Age. Magnificent cities and wonders. Now, before everything goes completely sideways, picture a society operating at absolute peak performance. Their utopian baseline was truly unmatched. They didn't just build basic settlements, they constructed these magnificent cities with monumental architecture and crazy complex infrastructure. On top of that, they totally mastered the seas. They built these maritime trade networks that projected their influence way beyond their own borders. And maybe the coolest part, they created wonders that left neighboring lands in absolute awe. Imagine being an ancient traveler pulling up to their meticulously engineered ports. You'd be totally floored by the marvels on display. They were the undisputed envy of the ancient world. Part 2. Pride and power, the fatal flaw. But as we know, perfection almost never lasts. The story inevitably shifts from this golden age of innovation into a much darker, much more ominous turning point. On one hand, you've got their growing physical strength. The kingdom possessed literally everything the society could want: wealth, security, unchecked innovation. But on the other hand, this insidious internal corruption takes hold. A deep hunger for power grabs the ruling class. The leaders became fiercely proud and demanded even more control. It's kind of that classic historical irony, right? Having literally everything somehow just makes leaders want even more. Their military strength was absolute, sure, but their internal moral compass was totally fracturing under the heavy weight of their own greed. The kingdom slowly lost its wisdom. Now, this isn't just some throwaway line from an old text. This is really the beating heart of the whole story. Losing your wisdom because of an insatiable hunger for power, that is a timeless human flaw. By zeroing in on this specific moral decay, the story actually transforms from just a geographical myth into a super relevant framework for understanding how empires collapse. They basically became victims of their own hubris, completely forgetting the foundational principles and the restraint that made them great in the first place. Part 3. The cataclysm, a swift destruction. That profound loss of wisdom brings us right to the tipping point. The fall happens fast, and it happens without mercy. This wasn't some slow, multi-generational decline. It is sudden. It is terrifying. Just days prior, the warning signs start: strange environmental anomalies, violent ground shaking, then night falls. In a single, horrifying evening, massive earthquakes literally split the island's bedrock wide open. There's no organized evacuation, no time to save centuries of knowledge. By morning, just a few hours later, Atlantis completely vanishes beneath the ocean. Just think about how fast that is. A civilization that took generations to build, totally wiped off the map between sunset and sunrise. The ground shook violently, turning these massive dense cities into scattered debris. And the water, we're not just talking about a typical storm surge here. Historical sources describe these towering walls of water crashing into the urban centers from absolutely every direction. It's an inescapable, crushing force, as the ocean just rapidly reclaims the land. There was nowhere to run, no high ground left to seek refuge. The once great kingdom was just gone, swallowed entirely by the sea in a matter of hours, leaving a terrifying void right where an empire used to stand. Part 4. Legend or reality? The enduring mystery. Eventually, the waters calm, the violent earthquakes stop, and the ocean surface goes completely still. But, the story doesn't actually end with its destruction, because despite the total physical annihilation of the island, the search for the historical truth is far from over. Even today, modern explorers, marine archaeologists, and historians are out there scanning the seabed, searching for clues hidden beneath the waves.
They are totally captivated by the possibility that the remnants of those magnificent cities, the actual physical structures of those wonders, might be resting down there in the dark, just waiting to be rediscovered. So what does this all mean? Was Atlantis a real civilization? Real people suffering a very real catastrophic natural disaster? Or is it simply a legend, a beautifully crafted metaphor by ancient philosophers to warn us about imperial overreach? Right now, the mystery remains completely unsolved. But consider this: if a civilization as advanced, as wealthy, and as invincible as Atlantis could just vanish overnight, what does that say about the fragile line between our own recorded history and myth? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the history beneath the surface.